Over the past 48 hours, dozens of tornadoes have touched down across the Midwest, striking from the Texas Panhandle to the Great Lakes. They're only a fraction of the estimated 700 tornadoes that hit this country each year, causing, on average, about 100 deaths. That's why there is an unprecedented effort underway to study tornadoes. And it's reaping solid new information. Roger Caras went to Tornado Alley.
Tornadoes, one of nature's most terrifying events. They're devastating storms that slash and tear and mutilate. This is what they are like. May 8th of this year, footage by Oklahoma City cameraman Jack Ahern, shot from the front porch of his home near Edmond, Oklahoma. 12 injured, 45 homes destroyed, 100 more damaged. What do they leave in their wake? Shock and fear.
Go on, man.
What was going through your mind as you knew it was coming? Death. I was scared.
The day before, May 7th, Canadian Texas, this time shot by an amateur cameraman. Another weather system gone mad. Less than a month earlier, Sweetwater, Texas, 90 injured, 1 dead, damage in the millions, 600 homes totally destroyed. What are tornadoes? Here's a tornado primer, the facts of life and death. Where do they hit? When and for how long? And why are they so devastating? First, where? Answer, anywhere. Since 1950, every state in the Union has been hit. The worst place? Tornado Alley, the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, and Kansas. When? Usually February to early summer, moving northwest across America, peaking in May or June. In May of last year, there were 182 tornadoes in the continental United States. What is a tornado besides a nightmare? It is a rotating wind that can reach almost 300 miles an hour. Like a wrathful finger pointing earthward, it emerges from low-hanging clouds and touches down. Width at the Earth's surface, anywhere from a few yards to more than a mile. It may last 10 seconds or 40 minutes. Its strike points cannot be predicted, making it the most difficult of all storms to understand. Why and how is the monster born? Almost always the same way. Moist, warm air rides northward from the south and southeast, overrunning cold air coming down from the north. The warm air is forced to rise and a thunderstorm takes shape. Tornado Alley, lying east of the Rockies and north of the Gulf of Mexico, provides the perfect arena. Curiously, virtually always at the northeastern edge of the storm, rain starts to fall and increases in intensity. If hail first mixes with the rain and then replaces it, real trouble is on the way. The hail, in itself a major destructive force, can be as large as baseballs. A dark, low-hanging cloud forms again almost always in the same relative position in the storm system, at its southwestern edge. That is the wall cloud, the mantle of death. The air begins to rotate more rapidly, and in it, the twister is born and drops to earth, snatching up debris and turning even dust into shrapnel. Surprisingly, it's only in the last few years that the idea of observing tornadoes close up scientifically caught on. To observe tornadoes, small short-term events, you chase them. And this sophisticated observatory on wheels is the ultimate tornado chaser. In constant communication with weather observatories throughout the region and with high-tech video cameras on its roof, the laboratory moves out on a storm scramble with 2020's cameras inside.
Okay, let's power up the generator. Let's just bring up everything. Here we go. It's low preset. Yeah, well, we're getting in one of those exciting situations where it all looks good here. Okay.
This team is part of the Severe Storms Laboratory in Norman, Oklahoma, the ultimate tornado research facility of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The target storm that day had the conditions necessary for a tornado, but none formed. Very often, scrambles end just this way. The chase team also works with this strange-looking gadget called Toto. partially named for the dog in The Wizard of Oz and partially for Totable Tornado Observatory. The idea is to get this 400-pound weather station into the path of a tornado to measure exact wind speed and temperature. So far, the erratic movement of these storms has prevented this from happening. In 1981, in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, a chase team spotted this storm and almost found the answer to the old gag, why does, in this case, a tornado cross the road? Listen carefully.
Stop. Rapid circulation. About 1/2. Debris, tornado, passing right in front of us. Oh my God.
Later that same day, another tornado was recorded by a chase team. Dr. Robert Davies Jones, a tornado expert for the Severe Storms Lab, describes the events.
This is a single tornado from the same storm, and you can see it hit a house and debris flying up in the air. You can throw it up on a screen and track the debris as it goes across, and by knowing where the tornado is and where the camera was, you can scale the whole thing and get wind speeds out of it. You can see the pieces of barn flying around.
It really disintegrated, didn't it?
Yeah. We were about 3/4 of a mile from this tornado. It's in its rope stage. When a tornado's about to dissipate, it goes into a contorted serpentine rope stage, and that's what this tornado is in right now.
But it's still dangerous at that point.
It's still very dangerous. It's narrow, but if it happens to hit your house, it's still very dangerous.
What time did that storm come up?
Also in Norman at the University of Oklahoma School of Meteorology, students actually study how to be tornado chasers.
That's another storm, I think. Lake Kickapoo is way the hell out. Comma cloud, and the storms are popping up.
Basically a good thunderstorm in here, and then another one up just...
It might be worthwhile to head out and take a look at it.
We're picking it up on the high IR top.
Dr. Howard Bluestein takes his students into the field in an old station wagon and films the storms they can catch. He describes some of his best tornado footage.
This particular tornado, which I'm going to show you, we intercepted in May 2nd, 1979, near the town of Orienta, Oklahoma. We see more small-scale vortices. Some cloud tags are going up. Some are coming down. You see a lot of small dust whirls on the ground. Now another dust whirl forms on the ground, and it quickly dissipates. Again, more cloud material going up, some coming down. Now we try again to produce a tornado, and there's a very, very short-lived tornado, and it doesn't quite make it. Another one tries to form, and now we have a full tornado. Look at how quickly this is occurring. The matter of seconds. Now a second one forms. Now the second one rotates around the first one, perhaps one revolution, and then stops. And now we'll look for a new tornado to form off to the left. Another one. How many tornadoes are there actually here? If you count each individual one, there are probably dozens. Now we finally get to the stage where there's just one large tornado, and from here on, our movie isn't very good because we never had time to put the movie camera back on the tripod because the hail was just down the road and coming towards us, and we had to move rather quickly.
Tornadoes can come as a surprise and do damage and cause deaths even if they're relatively small. However, most of the damage and destruction is due to the larger tornadoes, especially those that hit cities with this multiple vortex type structure.
Wichita Falls, Texas had one of the worst multiple vortex tornadoes in 25 years strike at precisely 6:15 p.m. 44 people were killed in that one city alone. That was April 10th, 1979. Suddenly, the storm moves away, and it's very, very quiet. But the scars it leaves behind are both physical and emotional.
Injuries were severe. All 4 limbs were severely injured. My left leg was off just below the knee. My right arm was torn from elbow to wrist.
Norma Wright did survive by hanging on to a construction scaffold. She now runs an art gallery. Her artificial leg even allows her to dance. Over 700 others were seriously injured in Wichita Falls that same day. It is remembered as Terrible Tuesday. Well away from Tornado Alley in Venice, Florida, A tornado struck on March 17, 1985. It was a St. Patrick's Day that will long be remembered. This is the home of Fred and Phyllis Guth on the morning after the storm. He's a retired police officer.
I'm 6'6", you know, and 250 pounds, and really in my lifetime I can never ever remember knowing what fear really was until the night of this tornado.
I thought I should have died that night, and it took me a long time to get rid of that feeling. I felt that somehow maybe the next night I would be taken because I was overlooked.
How can we help reduce the catastrophic effect of these storms, since there is nothing in the foreseeable future we can do to affect the storms themselves? People can be warned. This is Norman, Oklahoma, in the middle of America's Tornado Alley.
What you've just heard is a network of sirens that go off here as a test every Friday at high noon. It's not an air raid warning. It's not a warning against nuclear attack. It's a tornado warning.
But before the public can be warned by sirens, the authorities have to be alerted. Under development is a growing network of Doppler radar installations, like this one at the Severe Storms Lab in Norman, that can reach into the heart of a storm and measure wind velocity and locate tornadoes in the cloud system before they touch down. 120 of the new radar systems, to be called NEXRAD, are expected to be online across the country by 1993. Each installation will cost $2 million. These sophisticated tools can give 20-minute warnings that the spiraling winds aloft are forming into a tornado. Because most tornado deaths are caused by wind-blown scraps that have been turned into missiles, the School of Engineering at Texas Tech in Lubbock is doing exhaustive research into the design of tornado-proof structures. The search is on for construction techniques that can withstand the storm's furious assault. Here, a cinder block wall is the target, and the missile, a simple 2x4 fired from a cannon-like device at about the velocity a real tornado would provide.
3, 2, 1.
Imagine, if you will, the effect on a car, a wooden house, or a human body. Also being tested, a block wall, this one with steel reinforcement that just could make the difference to people cowering in their homes, schools, or workplaces when the storm warnings are sounded.
3, 2, 1, fire!
The wall cracked, but as you can see in that same sequence in slow motion, its steel reinforcements enabled it to contain the force hurled against it. Why do houses disintegrate? Not because of low pressure causing them to explode. That is a myth. Tornado force winds tear roofs away and the walls fall down. Dispelling another myth, don't open windows. That won't help at all, according to Professor Joseph Miner of Texas Tech.
If you're in a house or a building, go to the interior part of the house or building to a small room on the lowest floor. If you are outside in an automobile, abandon the automobile in favor of a permanent structure. If a permanent structure is not available, or if you're in the open outside of an automobile, you should find a ditch or depression that would permit you to get as low as possible and avoid the debris.
To end a report on storms, the storms should speak for themselves. Not many tornadoes have been well photographed. They're simply too unpredictable and too dangerous to approach. But these are some of the best pictures known. The sound, one of the very few known recordings of a tornado ever made. In Alabama, a teenage boy left his tape recorder running when he fled with his family. This tape was found after the storm had passed.
That is remarkable, that picture. Roger Caras will join us right after this.
Roger Caras joins us now, coming in out of the wind and the danger of tornadoes. And I'm amazed, Roger, that when you think that cyclones and typhoons and hurricanes generate winds, 100 and some miles an hour maybe, but these things, tornadoes go hundreds of miles an hour.
Up to 300 U.
And that's because they're tighter than the large cyclone winds?
Well, picture a figure skater on the ice, arms spread out, turning around, pulls the arms in, and becomes a blur. A tornado is a weather system that gets smaller, tighter, tighter, until it's a blur.
And the ultimate source of that power?
The sun.
Is the sun.
The sun makes all weather systems circular, and this just gets to be very tight.
Right. Very interesting. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Well, stay with us now. We have planned a short trip down memory lane, and wait till you see the payoff.
I'm here starting tonight to host 2020.
It's kind of hard to believe, even looking at it. There's a line in a Bob Dylan song that says, I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. And it was kind of, on-the-job training. I didn't know about magazines of the air at the time. But anyway, it's hard to believe it was 8 years ago.
Well, you are younger now, or you are as young now. Happy 8th anniversary to you, and I guess happy 8th anniversary to 2020.
I thank you, Barbara. Well, now, because of tonight's Duvalier interview, we juggled our lineup a bit. We had planned to bring you a remarkable, very positive story about new help for children with nutritional blindness, some of which is reversible. We've rescheduled this for 2 weeks from tonight. It will be on the air June the 26th. You'll want to tune it in.
Sure will. And now here's Ted Koppel with a word about tonight's Nightline. Ted?
Barbara, a state of emergency was declared in South Africa today, and a group of international leaders warns that without outside economic pressure, South Africa may be facing the worst bloodbath since World War II. That's our focus tonight. Hugh?
That's Nightline following your local news.
And that's 2020 for tonight. We're in touch, so you be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs.
And for everyone at 2020, good night.
Tomorrow on Good Morning America, Lee Iacocca talks about competing with Japan. Also, a report on where the women's movement is heading. Plus, comedian Jay Leno tomorrow on Good Morning America. And tomorrow night, following Mr. Sunshine, it's a blast when jobless steelworkers go into the restaurant business in